Welcome back to Piney Grove, folks. My name's Brad, and we're out here on our 20 acres in North Florida on a steamy, hot, and humid summer day. What we'll be doing today is using this John Deere 5075. It's a 75 horsepower tractor that luckily has a cab and air conditioning, so that's going to be cool, literally cool. And we have a 9.5-foot Sickle Bar mower. So I've always been fascinated with Sickle Bar mowers, and I'd love to have one for our compact tractor, our Kubota L3901. But we don't have hydraulics on that yet, so we haven't really thought about how we're going to make the plunge into a Sickle Bar mower. But we do have this one to use, so we're very excited about it. Now behind me, we have 6 acres of hay that we cut, or 6 acres of pasture in Bahia grass that we cut yesterday. So we're waiting for that to dry, then we'll rake it and bale it with a mini baler, so be on the lookout for those videos. So if you're not familiar with a Sickle Bar, it has stationary teeth every few inches, and this is a 9.5 footer. And it has these blades in here that ratchet back and forth. And those blades are driven by a belt drive that we'll show later. But as the grass enters here, in between here, it gets cut. And these things can cut small brush, but they're not a brush hog or anything. It's mainly used to cut grass and tall weeds. And you drop this cutter down completely. So with your 3-point hitch, you drop it down, and with your hydraulics, you drop the arm of it down till it's flat on the ground. And it doesn't dig into the ground because this point keeps it from digging in. So this pointy red thing on the end, don't know what it's called. If you know, leave a comment down below. But this rides on the ground and keeps it from digging in, keeps this whole 9.5-foot blade from digging in. But it also takes the grass as it comes here into this area and kind of rolls it over. So it leaves you some clean ground at the end of your cut so that you can make your next pass with your tractor wheels. And we'll actually show you in the pasture that path that it leaves. All right, how does it work? It's attached to the tractor with 3-point hitch. So you got your 2 lift arms on either side and your top link, and that raises it up and down. It's PTO driven, so it's hooked up by the PTO shaft to the tractor. And also it requires 1 set of rear remotes. So we got it plugged in here, and what that does is actuates this cylinder, and that picks the blade up for transportation and puts it back down for cutting. So once that PTO power comes in here, it comes to a drive pulley that's bigger than the final drive pulley. There's a series of belts that drive this smaller pulley, and then it transfers that power into this gearbox here on the end. And then instead of it being rotating power, it takes those blades, and you can imagine that you have the stationary blades, and it just pushes the movable blade back and forth like that. So that's how it gets power out here. And again, it's belt driven, so that if you're get into thick stuff, this belt will actually start to squeal or start to smoke. Don't ask me how I know. Enough with the talk. Let's jump in this mean green machine and get some cutting done. Tractor guy at all, you owe it to yourself to at least, I don't know, spend a day on a farm and use one of these nice machines. This is a 75 horsepower John Deere. You can see the air conditioning up there, the radio up there. It's quiet in this cab. I don't have to use hearing protection, which I definitely have to use with our hydrostatic drive Kubota. Down here is the controls. Here's the loader controls. This tractor doesn't have a loader. We got our throttle over here. We got the hydraulics for the cutter back here. 3-point hitch lever here, and probably a bunch of other things. I don't know. This isn't our tractor. Our good friend Greg Bush over at Bush Services let us borrow all this equipment so that we could cut our pastures and bale our hay. So you can see all that in the background there where it all got cut yesterday. Let me turn this camera around and show you what we're going to do today. Them big old tires. So here's our pond, and we have plenty of videos about our pond. And we have about a 30-degree slope on both sides of the pond. And I can back the tractor down those slopes and do 5 foot at a time with the brush hog. It's going to be a lot more fun to use this 9-foot Sickle Bar mower and really knock out these banks quick. Now, I don't know the center of gravity on this tractor, so I'm not going to push it. I'm going to stay up high on the pond bank. I can't afford to write Greg a check for this tractor. So we're gonna play it real safe today. Okay, I've let the mower down, so this part's sitting on the ground. I've got the actual 9-foot Sickle Bar extended out here, so I'm gonna take one trip down here, see what we got, and then I feel pretty safe I can get the tractor at this little bit of angle and then go down 9 foot there. Because we're on a slope here, it cut real good here on the top, but as it broke off there or started sloping down, it cut it more ragged, and that's because I have to take another bite and get that blade more in alignment with the slope. I know if Miss Piney Grove was here, she'd say that's too dangerous, but I don't really have the tractor in the pond at all. So here it didn't knock down the grass as well because the grass isn't thick and I needed to put it down a little lower, but I don't need to mess up the sickle bar by hitting that dirt. But on this side you'll see there's a really nice clean cut. There's that furrow I talked about with the end of the sickle bar. And you'll notice that none of this is pulverized or chopped up. That's because the sickle bar just goes at the bottom and cuts off real close to the roots and leaves all of that stem part for hay. So this isn't going to leave as clean a mow as, say, what we have over there that we've been doing with the zero turn. But even though zero turn's pretty fun, this might be a little more fun. Or funner? Is that even a word? I'm not even going to lie. That thing is on low. You can see low fan, and it's almost too cold. We're going to go over to the other side of the pond and do that side. The shuttle shift has got me shook a little. That's A, B, C. Let's go into B. And take this one, B, second gear. Throttle. That's fast enough. We're in no hurry. There's our pond, lower than we want it. Ideally it would be 5 foot deep. It's about 3.5 foot deep now. Maybe not quite that much. But we've been a little dry the past few weeks, so we haven't had any runoff water. We're gonna mow this side. You can see I've zero turn mowed it there, a little brush hogging, but there's some tall grass there we're gonna get. We're not gonna bother doing this, we're just gonna do that tall grass. So if I'm being honest, ideally, I would put the brush hog on the Kubota so that we mulch that up fine and that can help keep this pond bank from eroding. But I've got this tractor out today and I'm gonna use it. So we're gonna use the sickle bar on that section there. We'll do at least 9 foot. Well, actually, we'll only do 9 foot, because if I think any further than that, we'll start dipping the sickle bar in the pond. Be a little wind noise, because I can't put a mic on the sickle bar, but we're gonna do this section right here. Got the tractor all set up, and just do one strip all the way down the side of the pond. My fellow YouTubers out there with cab tractors, talking to you, Joe the farmer and Hank Hamilton. That's not fun, getting in and out of that cab to move the camera. All I got to say is, man, that's fun. There's nothing like using high quality equipment to get the job done. But that's gonna do it for today's video, folks. Y'all take care out there, and remember, whether it's a Kubota or a John Deere, life's short, tractor hard.